Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about the concept of big data. You heard the word that big data. So big data is nothing but it is a huge data. A volume is more. Okay, the data volume is more. You will heard this. This is the buzzword. You know, from the current scenario. Okay, what do you mean by big data? Okay, so I will take an example. Okay, so in fifth semester you have studied database management system. So in the data management, what you will do, you will data will be stored or represented in the form of tables. Okay, that is in the form of rows and columns. Okay, so the thing is what happens. Suppose if the data is suppose you want to post messages or a comment in Facebook, or you want to put a comment in Twitter. Okay, you want to upload a photos. So those are all nothing but how you store those things. Comment. Is there any structure? So you will suppose you watch a movie and you will give a review about that. So it may be positive or maybe negative, but there is no specific format. So how you will analyze that movie feedback recommendation? So here at that time, what we need to do, it's not possible to store those things in the traditional relational database management systems, that is in the form of table and columns. So for that, what we need to do, we need to go for another concept called big data. Okay, so using the big data, we can, okay, so using big data, we can analyze, we can create, we can analyze, we can manipulate. Okay, so we can store, we can analyze, all those things we will do for using big data. Okay, so then what do you mean by big data in general? Okay, so a big data is a term encompasses in the use of techniques to capture. Okay, so capture, process, analyze, and visualize a potentially large data set. Okay, so here it is a term. Big data is nothing but it is a word or a term. It encompasses the use of techniques. What techniques? To capture the big data, to capture the data, to process the data, and to analyze and visualize. Capture, process, analyze, and visual. So capturing means you are collecting from the different sources. So then after that you need to process in a specific format. After that you will analyze. So from that what you need to get, what is the knowledge I will get when you also analyze. So suppose a movie. So a number of positive and negatives. So feedbacks they will give, opinions they will go, then how much positive and how much negative. Positive is more, then movie is good. Positive is less, that is negative is more, movie is not good. So we can analyze and we can get a new knowledge from that. Okay, so then after that we need to represent that result. Okay, so we need to represent that result. So that one we will call it as a big data, potentially a large data set. Okay, not a small data set. It will be a potentially large data set in a reasonable time frame. Not in 2 days or 3 days. It should be a specific time to analyze that data. Okay, and not accessible to standard IT technologies. That one we will call it as a big data. By extension, the platform tools and softwares are used for this purpose, to capture, to process, to analyze, to visualize. For doing these things, if we are using a platform or a tool or a software, those things we will call it as a big data technologies. You heard a big data. So I am a master of big data technology. If someone is tell, it means he is a master of, okay, so using that softwares or tools to capture, process, analyze, and visualize the large data. Then we will call it as a master of big data technologies. Okay, by collectively all those things, the software or tools. Okay, the softwares are tools which are used to do all this capture, process, and analyze and visualize the data. So that one we will call it as a big data technologies. Okay, so then let's see here how we will what is big data. So here data, in every second, millions of comments will put on Facebook, or trillions of comments are put on in Twitter, in n number of images will be put on Instagrams, and n number of millions, trillions of videos are uploading. So in every second, how much data will be generated? Okay, so from the YouTube, from Facebook, from Twitter, WhatsApp, okay, Instagram, LinkedIn, n number of social medias are there. So they need to maintain. Suppose if you take a Facebook, you need to maintain a huge amount of data every second, every minute. If someone is putting comment or images or videos on Facebook, so you need to maintain all those data. Okay. Suppose if you are logging for a Facebook page, so automatically it will download n number of images and comments under different your friends. Continuously it is displaying. Yes or no? So it means the data should be stored in a server, in a storage medium. So it's not an easy job because data is huge. So how many crores people are there? So for each, then from each one we may have at least one account, Facebook account. Okay, so that much of Facebook account, that much of data, that much of images, that much of comments. We need to manage all those things like Twitter, YouTube channels, videos, how much videos, Amazon Prime, how much movies they are uploading. Okay, Netflix, how much data will be generated in every second. So we need to manage all those things, data, okay, in a specific format. For that, we don't have any, we don't have normal using relation their database management. It's not possible to manage all those things. For that, we go for a big data. Okay, so what is the size of big data? So initially what we will have a megabytes, we will have a gigabytes, we will have a terabytes, petabytes, exabyte, that is 10 power 6, 10 power 9, 10 power 12, 10 power 15, 10 power 18, 10 power 21, 24, like that it may be 27, zeta, exa, zeta, peta, okay, so the size will be huge. Okay, so here we have taken how data will be varies and how data will be increases. So here in first thing we will have a enterprise resource, ERP, enterprise resource planning. So here whatever, so in that we have just a simple in a retail shop. So we will have a particular person purchase order, purchase details, purchase records, and payment records. So in that will if you take one retail store, that is in the data is in the form of megabytes. Okay, so just a customer will come and he will buy some products and he will go. So that data we have, that is in the form of megabytes. So when you come to next higher, that is customer relationship management. So in that what we have, a customer contacts, we have suppose in a company a number of customer contacts. You will have one retail store. Okay, so just you go visit one showroom for to buy one car, Tata showroom. You went and you will buy one car. So that is nothing but a one ERP. So then Tata, Port Company, Tata Company. So that is nothing but a customer relationship management. So in that how much? Okay, so it may be what are the offers given for the customers, customer touches, how many customers we have. So in the whole world, how many customers are there? What are their support contacts, and how we will segment those things. So that is nothing but this data is in the form of gigabytes. Okay, so company. Then after that, when you go for web, okay, so internet, what we'll have? We'll have web blogs, web offer histories, how many customers have purchased or how many customers are booked. Okay, so and what is the pricing, marketing, target. So all those things will come under web. So using internet. Okay, so that is of in the terabytes. So then when it come for next level, that one will be the big data. So what are all the things are there in that? Here sensors, RFID. So you will travel, from Bangalore to Hubli. So yeah, you will get a toll. So in the toll, what you will have a FASTag. That is RFID. Okay, radio frequency identity. You will have that FASTag. So sensors, devices, mobile web app. Okay, so then social media, audio, HD audio, video, images, speech to text, product service logs, spatial GPS coordination, n number of things are there. So in that we'll have videos, in that we have audios, in that we have comments. Okay, so here this is now it will be the data will be a petabytes. Collectively we will call it as a big data is nothing but it is a summation of a transaction, it may be interactions or it may be observation. Okay, collection of all these things we will get a big data. Okay, so big data, that one will collection of all those things we will call it as a big data. It may be transaction, it may be interactions, or it may be observation. When you collect all those things, we will get a word big data. Here, how data will be. So here data is increasing the varieties and complexity of data in x-axis. In y-axis, it will be the size of the data. It will be in megabytes, it will be in gigabytes, it will be terabytes, and it will be petabytes, exa, zeta. Okay, so like that, it will data will be increases, and here the complexity and volume is variety is also increased. Then, what are the three important characteristics of big data? We will call it as three views. Okay, three views of big data. What are those three views? So here that one will be the volume, velocity, and variety. Volume is nothing but it will be size. Velocity is nothing but how data will be generated at what time. Velocity is nothing but a speed. Okay, so how data will be generated, at what speed data will be generated. And third one is variety. So variety is nothing but so what type of data? It will be structured data, or it will be unstructured data, or maybe semi-structured data. Okay, those are nothing but a varieties of data. These things three, we will call it as a three views of data. The first one is volume. Volume is nothing but a size. So I already told that the data is in the size will be the terabytes or exabyte or petabytes. So that will be, it may contains a record, or it may contains transactions, or it may contains tables, files. So all those things will have a volume. Okay. So it may be record, it may be transaction, it may be tables, or it may be files. Okay. So next, velocity. So velocity is nothing but a speed. How speed we can process the data. So here we will have a number of ways to process the data. So like that we will have a batch system. So here we will collect the different, we will collect the data from different sources at a time in a batch. We will process the data. So near time, real time. Real time is nothing but that is you are watching a cricket. So in the day in Bangalore or somewhere it is players are playing cricket. You are watching on movie. You are watching on in your home. Okay, so through your TV. Okay, so then streaming. So continuous. So you are watching movie. Okay, so moving in your home. Okay, so that it will be streaming, data will be streaming. So at what speed it will be streaming. So that is very, very important. That one is called it as a velocity. Then when you come to variety, okay, so in that variety we will have, so it will be data is in structured form, whether that data is in the table or a specific format. So it will be in the table format, or it may be unstructured. So unstructured, it may be a video or a audio, or it may be comments. Okay, so that is the another thing. And third one is semi-structured. It is in between. It is not an unstructured or not a unstructured. It is in between. There is some specific structure, but not up to the mark. So that is the semi-structure. That one will be the, all of the above also we may have in the varieties of data. So these are the three views of data, that is volume, velocity, and variety. Okay, so in exams if they are what are the varieties of data, so you should three views of data, you can tell this. Okay, that is volume, velocity, and variety. These are the 3 bytes of the 3 views of big data. See here how the data we are representing 3 views. So here, so first one is volume. Data is in volume. It may be in kilobyte, megabyte, or after that gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte. Okay. So in the circle, it may be in kilobytes. So here we will have a velocity, and here you have a varieties of data. See here, if it is data is in the first inner circle, okay. So here data is in KB kilobytes, and it will be the variety of data will be the table, okay, and we will use the batch processing, okay. So kilo and megabytes. When you come to next circle, so in that we will have a periodics or a database. So it is in the gigabyte, and sorry, database will becomes after tables we will have a database. So in that database, data will be processed using periodically. So for every half an hour or every 1 hour. So that is in gigabyte. Okay, so next one, we're going to come to next. Here we will have a videos, audios, web and photos. These are in terabytes. Okay, so these things will executed in real time, near real time. Okay, and when you come to fourth one, here we have a social media and mobile applications, automated demand generation, all those things. It is in petabytes. Okay, so it is in a real time. We will execute the data, or we can analyze the data. So this is the representation of 3 views in a circle. So that is, so in first circle we will have a minimum size, in second circle it will be more, third circle it will be more, in fourth circle it will be high. Okay, so these are the representation of 3 views. Okay, so here we have a 3 views. Now we will have a, in addition to the, we have a one more view. Okay, so here fourth is nothing but a value. Okay, so here for anything, the value of that particular thing is very, very important. Okay, for example, you know, in the movie record, you are providing a movie record, you will give a positive or a negative, whatever it may be. It should have a specific value. If someone is rating, so when you are seeing comments or reviews or particular, some they are giving good comment, or some they are giving bad comment, and someone they are giving not related to that that movie also, they will type something. So is there any value for that? No. Means every data should have a specific value. So if it is positive or negative, that it should have value. But other than that, if you are writing comment, so what is the use? Okay, that value is very, very important. So that one will be, the data will be, so first thing is value, velocity, variety and volume. Okay, this is the fourth. See here, another one is data veracity. Okay, so veracity is nothing but value. Then after that we will have a veracity. What is veracity? Veracity is in a data is in doubt, uncertainty. Okay, see here, this is a very, very interesting slide. So here, volume data, that is, we will represent volume of data when data is in rest. Okay, so when data at rest, we will measure the volume of the data. It may be terabyte to exabyte of existing data to process. Okay, so when data is in motion, how speedily data will be transferred, that one we will call it as a velocity. Data is in motion, that one we will call it as a velocity. Okay, so here velocity is nothing, how will measure, that is streaming of data, that is milliseconds to seconds to respond. So here those things are data is in a motion, so that one we will call it as a velocity of a data. So then when data is represented in many forms, that one we will call it as a variety. When you have a data is in motion, it will be a variety. Okay, so here that one will be that variety is nothing but it may be structure, unstructured, or a semi-structure, or it may be the text or a multimedia, or it may be audio, or it may be video, it may be picture, maybe image, whatever it may be. That one is called as a varieties of data. And third one is fourth one is veracity. Data is in doubt, uncertainty. Okay, it may be uncertainty. Why? When there is a uncertainty is due to a data inconsistency. The data is not in a consistent form. Okay, so data is not a consistent form, and it may be incompleteness. So data is not fully completed. Okay, so then next here it may be a data may have ambiguity. Okay, so data may have ambiguity. Okay, so there is those are all nothing but uncertainty, latency, deception, model approximation. So these are all some examples of data uncertainty. That one we will call it as a data is in doubt. Okay, so this is also very important. If okay, data is there, huge data is there, but it is not a consistent data. So here I have a student marks. Okay, so every student having a 60 student marks. So every marks having 80 to 60 to 80 we have. Suppose in some marks it may have more than 100. What is the meaning? So suppose some data is missing. Okay, so for one student only 4 subject marks are there. So that is nothing but a data incompleteness. Okay, so one student data is there, another student's data is not there, next one student's data is there. That is nothing but a inconsistency. Okay, so every time if some in a cricket, every match, if you score under 50, 50, 55, 60, consist, that one will call it as a consistency. In one match you will score 150, in another match it will be duck, in next match it will be 100. So that is nothing but another 2 match it will be duck, next match it will be 200. That is nothing but a inconsistency. Instead of that inconsistency, if we have a consistent every match 50, 50, 50 for 10 matches, that one that is nothing but a consistency. Okay, incompleteness, there is data is not if it is not having full data. Okay, so only half data, or for a class I have given an example. So for a particular class for 60 students only I have data about 30 students. That is nothing but a incompleteness. Okay, ambiguity. So here you don't know. So here, so for a particular same USN, if we have a two students names, that is nothing but an ambiguity. So these are all a different varieties of data. So when data is in rest, we will measure the volume. When data is in motion, we will measure the velocity of data. When data is in many forms, we will identify it, that is variety. And when data is in doubt, at that time it will be a veracity. Okay, so these are the four views. Okay, so in addition to that, we will have a value also. Okay, so these are the 4 views of data. In last decade, I think how we will what they have done. You heard that Netflix. So here you will see a number of movies using this Netflix. Nowadays we'll have an Amazon Prime. Okay, so from that you will watch a number of movies of different languages. Amazon Prime. Netflix, what he had done, it is a DVD rental company. At that time it may have DVD rental company. Now it will become a full online. Okay, so here it announced in 2006, it has announced a price of 1 million USD for a better algorithm. Okay, so to process that big data, it has announced a price of 1 million USD in 2002 to manage to that to find a better algorithm for big data analysis. In April 2010, a team has suggested a better algorithm. Okay, so in April 2007, one team in 2006 they have announced 1 million price. So for a better algorithm. So then in 2007, a team has suggested a better algorithm. So if if the team find one algorithm, it suggests it is 7% better performance. Now the Netflix was able to recommend the movies to existing customer and to new customer. See here, this reviews I have told now that movie recommendation. So Netflix was done on in 2007. See here. So it was then after that once it get a better performance. So a number of once you watch a movie, you will give a reviews like that. A number of customers are given reviews. So then Netflix it will recommend. So this is a good movie. This is a good bad movie. The rating is 3.5. Rating is 5. So using that algorithm, that it analyzed that comments. Okay, then the Netflix was able to recommend to customers movies for existing customers and also to a new customers. So at that time, that analysis of that big data was established by Netflix. Okay, in previous decade. Another success is Google. Okay, so here Google in 98 it started a search engine. Okay, so in 1998 it started a Google search engine, and then after that it becomes a popular. Okay, so there were already other search engines. Okay, so here already before coming to Google also at that time we'll have a other search engines. So now why this Google has become more familiar? Because of approach a new algorithm, new technique, that is page ranking algorithm. So what is that page ranking? Based on how many other pages are linked to them. Okay. Because using that page rank, Google searches much better. So it display. So it will suppose if you put on word, so n number of links will be displayed. How? Using that page ranking algorithm. Okay, I think you have studied this one in OS operating system, page ranking algorithm. Okay, so here based on how many pages are linked to them, so that one will be based on that the Google has become a more popular. In 2004, 85 searches on the web were Google. See here, 98 that started from 0 users. So after that, after 6 years, it becomes 85% of the searchers becomes the Google. Then after that, a Google is word become a internet search, de facto of word for internet search. Found us among the top 10 rich people in the world because of that page ranking. That is nothing but a velocity, how that data will be captured. Okay, so that is another success of Google. Okay, what is common in this all to these things? So here we have the data is collected from different sources and persons. Okay, that is one thing. Okay, so that is movie recommendation in Netflix. So we have collected, we are recommending the movie. So by taking the feedback from different sources or different persons. Plus in Google, what we have done, a sophisticated algorithm, page algorithm, that may be machine learning or a collective intelligence, a new lead to new conclusion, lead to new business opportunities. So it means you should have two things. One is you need to collect the data from different sources. Then after that, how effectively you will analyze the data. That is the for that which algorithm it is suitable. So that is the second thing. So if you apply that machine learning, so it becomes it leads to a conclusion that you leads to a new business opportunities. That current trend is this one. Collect the data from different resources and apply the machine learning algorithms, whatever it may be, machine learning or a deep learning. Okay, so you need to analyze and get a new thing, new business opportunities. So that is the common thing. That's why I have given this example, Netflix and this Google. So that's why it becomes Google and Netflix have become a most popular nowadays. Okay, so okay, in last 5 years, what has the how data has been grown? So it may be from internet or from mobile phone or smartphones, online commerce, social networking. Okay, data. So from the data, you will have Google Map, mobile phone, surveillance. That is everywhere. We will have a CC cameras in public places, retail output. In example, so in Bangalore, how many CC cameras are there? How many signals are there? In each signals, we will have more than one CC cameras. And personally, in home also, they are maintaining CC cameras. From all those things for 24/7, how many data will be generated? Okay, a standalone devices, smart connected devices, smart meters, health monitoring devices, 20 billion devices will be connected only 20. It may be more than that. Okay, through all those things, the huge volume of data will be generating every second. Not every day, every second the data will be generating. Okay, so here just your COVID vaccination. So here when you go for vaccination, they will take your data. So they will take your Aadhaar number and your photo. Okay, your phone number they will take. So here, so how many crores of people are there in India? So it means we need to maintain the data of all and more than 132 crores persons data. Okay, so that's why the big data is having. So here they are capturing your phone number, your photo, your Aadhaar number, your phone number. Okay, so like that. So here we will have phone numbers and your Aadhaar number. They will put it in the tables. And what about your video and the your photo, and they will take your ID card photo. So those things are nothing but a unstructured. So for that, then we need big data. Okay, so like that you can go anywhere, everywhere. You will have a big data. So nowadays you will have a buzzword that is machine learning and artificial intelligence, data science, everything. So before 10 years, they will have a trend. It may be big. It was big data and processing of that big data using Hadoop technology. Big data, Hadoop, big data. You can go for everywhere. You will have a big data, Hadoop, big data. And nowadays it will be a machine learning. In next years, it may be different. Okay, so like that, this last few years, these data will be generated. Okay, from all these different sources, from internet, where it may be mobile phones, online commerce, or it may be social networking, it may be data, Google Map, everything, the data will be generated.